Hi Rurouni's, this is your pal RurouniK95 here. So today, I'm doing for today's episode of RurouniK95 Reviews Cartoons. You know, meaning like Western cartoons, you know what I mean, like Count Duckula, DuckTales, Super Robot Monkey Team, Hyper Force Go, and stuff. Today we're going to be reviewing Darkwing Duck. It started off as an idea from Tadstones when they started to wanted to do another show which is more different from DuckTales, the original one from 1987, because the episode. We all know the episode, Double O Duck. I mean, just look at that. We have done. So this is the capital of S. P precursor, because that's how I know what I. That's how I know. Because that's what I think of when I think of Darkwing Duck. Yep. So let's cue it up. In the episode of Darkwing Duck, Night of the Living Smut, where Darkwing tells the Boy Scout one saying he has saved Saint Canard from the so-called vampire potato, which is made up or something like that. Because that's how I think of when I think of Darkwing Duck. Because it was based on an original idea from the universally episode of DuckTales, Double O Duck. That's how it was. Because in Darkwing Duck, however, the original concept of Darkwing Duck is basically like a cross between the Phantom, the Shadow, Zorro, the Green Hornet, as well as, of course, Batman from just the DC comics, and funny world, inspirational world we all live in, hasn't it? Speaking of which, Splatter Phoenix only appeared in Brush with Oblivion episode. Only appeared in only 2 episodes as a minor character. If we ever really want to see a episode on Darkwing Duck, that all figures with minor characters in cartoons like Darkwing Duck. Minor characters are not really... They're not exactly like major characters, but minor only appeared in only fewer episodes, which you don't see very often in every episode. Especially what we see in Darkwing Duck. That's the reason why. Funny little world. People tend to think the names from every show from Disney. We all know Darkwing Duck started in 1991 with the episode. Oh, which one? We all know that Darkwing Duck started as Darkly Dawns the Duck, which we hear Darkwing Duck theme in the episode where he arrests those people into the jail. Of what we see on Darkwing Duck episode, which had spread butter. Ever since Darkwing Duck premiered on ABC. Funny little world we all live in, isn't it? And speaking of which, Splatter Phoenix only appeared in 2 episodes of Darkwing Duck, which is episode 12 on season 2, which is A Brush with Oblivion, and which one's that other episode? Oh, Paint Misbehavin'. That's what I forgot, because I keep forgetting another episode until now. Funny little world we all live in, isn't it? So speaking of which, because minor characters like Splatter Phoenix and Darkwing Duck only appeared in 2 episodes, Paint Misbehavin' and A Brush with Oblivion. Funny little world we all live in, hasn't it? So speaking of which, This episode of Darkwing Duck, which is the secret origins of Darkwing Duck, has been inspired by the origin story from comic books, because it's right out of Superman, or the modern average superhero comic origin story in Darkwing Duck. Funny little world we all live in, hasn't it? Because this had spread butter than what we see on Season 1 of Darkwing Duck for no apparently reason. So speaking of which, this series of the Darkwing Duck series is basically like, some may say it's a spin-off of DuckTales, but it has nothing to do with DuckTales because it's not a spin-off. It's not like they're making a new show after they finish an old show. No, it's like more different than DuckTales, to be honest, because, well, they both are part on the Disney afternoon during the 90s, which 90s kids remember Darkwing Duck because in the works tones of capital R remember, because that's what I think of when I think of Darkwing Duck, especially on the Disney afternoon during the 90s. But yeah. So speaking of which, Justice Ducks Part 1 and 2 has the first appearance of Darkwing Duck's lover named Morgana Macabre. The inspiration is right out of Bride of Frankenstein, or the bride from Bride of Frankenstein, or Lily Munster from The Munsters. So speaking of which, Hot Spells was a banned episode from Darkwing Duck because, it's a devil in a kids show. But we see the Brooms from the original Fantasia made a cameo in Darkwing Duck because, as well as we see Scrooge McDuck appears on a billboard in Duckburg in the Gizmo Duck episode in Darkwing Duck, because this is what I think of when I think of the Disney afternoon, especially Darkwing Duck. I mean, when did I first heard of Darkwing Duck? Well, it was 2006 when I think I saw it in a Disney Adventures magazine I used to have, and also I saw it at Volume 1 and 2 of Darkwing Duck at Walmart, and then by 2013 in early month of May 2013, before my graduation from high school on June 4th, 2013, I am watching Darkwing Duck. Let's get dangerous. Infamous quote of Darkwing Duck, what he says in the show Darkwing Duck. Because he says, "I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am the something something." What he says, something different or more randomly, when he solves crime and fighting bad guys in Darkwing Duck. But yeah, because it's like very 90s, especially Darkwing Duck. Now, if this was DuckTales and including the episode of Double O Duck, then I would have been compelled for another episode review law. Say have it on full blast if we want to see an idea from an inspiration from the DuckTales episode Double O Duck and the Masked Mallard. But it's Darkwing Duck because it started in 1991 and it ended in 1992. Oh, and of course, Jim Cummings is the voice of Darkwing Duck because I'm going to say because he's the modern Double O Duck or the Masked Mallard. And the funniest part that I see in Darkwing Duck is where Darkwing said to Gizmo Duck, "You belong in Duckburg," and then Gizmo Duck said, "You belong in jail," which I thought it was funny. Because Darkwing Duck's not a villain, as well as my favorite funny parts in Darkwing Duck was where the hillbilly in the episode Night of the Living Spud, the hillbillies were like, "Darkwing Duck's the vampire," in that part. They thought Darkwing Duck's the vampire, but he's not. Because he's like a crime-fighting hero. As for the episode Secret Origins of Darkwing Duck, because that story is like right out of Superman, because the Secret Origins of Darkwing Duck episode has its inspirational reference to Superman's origin story, which had spread, the comics had spread butter than what we see on season 1. And Darkwing Duck has ended in 1992 with the final episode, Extinct Possibly. That's a good history on it, isn't it? So that's going to be it for my review on Darkwing Duck, you guys, on RurouniK95 Reviews Cartoons, you guys. So thanks for watching. But before we finish off in this video, I'm gonna say Darkwing Duck has lasted over 91 episodes and 3 seasons of the show, because, as a matter of fact, Darkwing Duck said to Gizmo Duck, saying, "You belong in Duckburg," and Gizmo Duck said, "You belong in jail." I think that's the episode Tiff of the Titans, which is in season 2 or 3, depending on which season of Darkwing Duck. And yes, Launchpad McQuack did appear in Darkwing Duck, because he's straight out of DuckTales, or Word for Scrooge McDuck in Duckburg, because Launchpad McQuack calls Darkwing as DW, and he calls Scrooge in Darkwing Duck, but in DuckTales he called Scrooge McDuck as Mr. McD. That's the reason. Oh, and yes, in the 2017 DuckTales reboot, Darkwing Duck appeared in a cameo in 2017 DuckTales reboot, which is spread butter of what we see on the DuckTales reboot. I hope you subscribe for content. I hope you share this video on your Twitter, and you can share this video on your Facebook with your friends on Facebook. And that's it. My Anime Planet account is linked in the description down below. You can share this video in your Facebook with your friends on Facebook if you even have Facebook. And that's it. So like, subscribe, favorite, comment, and what else? Oh yes, comment. Read notifications, check in your notifications on your YouTube, and be sure to subscribe to RurouniK95, and that's it. So keep it otaku for anime reviews, and setting up my anime collection video series, as well as Closer at Anime DVDs series, and that's it. So tomorrow's review, DuckTales, the original from 1987. Till next time.